Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Naturewood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Naturewood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Naturewood's selection. During Naturewood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit, enjoy the comfort of leather at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were out without Rick. Oh, geez, I almost said that.
Not Rick Fox.
Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who sat out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from 3, and Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. With the Kings' win, they are now a half game out of the second seed in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight, with the Grizz in LA playing the Lakers. With the Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. It is 10 o'clock, and that means it's time for Chris and Co.
He's born in Sacramento. He's raised in Sacramento.
And now he takes over the airwaves in Sacramento.
It's Chris and Company with Sacramento's Chris Watkins
On Sactown Sports.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to day 2, episode 2, show number 2 for Chris and Company. So glad to be joining you on this Tuesday morning. What is this slot? Like, this is like it's pre-afternoon, not morning. I don't know. It's still morning. It's still morning time. Glad to be joining you after last night's Kings victory. Good to see that. Good to see. We talked yesterday about the Kings needing to respond after that poor defensive performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. And the Kings definitely did that. I think there was definitely some contributing factors for sure. It didn't feel like New Orleans was at their best last night. A lot of sloppy play. But man, you know, when you learn that De'Aaron Fox is going to be out for the game, I think everybody's eye naturally just goes right to Davion Mitchell. You know, when it just makes sense. You know, De'Aaron's he's the direct beneficiary of De'Aaron not playing. He's going to get an extended run, and it's been an up and down season for Davion all year, especially on the offensive end. Just trying to find his footing offensively. Defensively, you know exactly what he's going to bring every single night. But it was good to see him get going offensively as well yesterday. He had 15 points, 6 assists, 1 steal, 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. And he played, you know, to his credit, Mike Brown talked in the pregame about how, you know, when De'Aaron's not out and Davion's getting this extended run, a lot is made of people focusing on Davion's offensive game because, you know, it makes sense. You know, De'Aaron's a huge part of the offense of this team. And so, you know, you expect Davion to step into some of his offensive role off. But what you really need to focus on is what this really means for Davion is he gets that extended run to really make an impact throughout the entirety of the game defensively. And that's what I noticed last night was Davion was he earned the defensive player of the game chain, and he absolutely deserved it. He completely shut down CJ McCollum last night, who killed the Kings when they played them in New Orleans. I thought CJ was I don't remember a single significant CJ McCollum moment from last night. He finished with 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of 6, 6 of 14 from the field. And a lot of that was because Davion Mitchell was just on him all night long. Good to see. Great to see from Davion. Again, like when De'Aaron steps out, he knows it. He has to know it. He has to know that tons of people are going to be looking at him and looking at his performance to see how he's going to step up. Will he be able to handle or stay on the floor offensively, if you will, you know? And I think he did. I think it's tough. It's really tough for him, especially this year. It feels like the reason why Davion has kind of had a lot more issues finding his flow this season as opposed to last season was especially at the end of last year when De'Aaron was out, when Domas was out, and it was kind of the keys were given to Davion, if you will. He had the ball in his hands a lot, and it was a lot of pick and roll, and he was able to kind of get into a rhythm and really establish, you know, what he's trying to do and get a feel for the game. But this season, that hasn't been the story at all. He's played a lot of off ball, gotten a lot of his shot opportunities off of catch and shoot threes, which, you know, he's okay at, but it's definitely not one of his major strong suits. And to his credit, he's been able to knock down threes at a decent level. You know, he's not in a 36-37% from three shooter, but you know, he's 33 to 35%. And that's okay. That is acceptable, especially with the level of defense that he brings. You can live with that. And it's, you know, he's not getting super extended run or anything like that. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal if he's not hitting offensively because of what he brings and the, I don't want to diminish his role, but the minimal role that he's playing in the minimal minutes that he's playing. But yeah, when he gets an extended run like he did last night, you can just see that it's better for his rhythm. He's able to, you know, and to his credit last night, he didn't force it. He could have definitely said, well, De'Aaron's not playing last night. I can, you know, this is a little bit an opportunity for me to kind of get back to what I was good at last year and, you know, show you guys that you're not playing me the right way and this is my preferred way. But instead, I think that they just played like how they play when De'Aaron is normally not on the floor when he's sitting on the bench. Just about everything runs through Domas. Davion's more of an off-ball. I think if anybody overextended themselves in that first half, I thought Malik Monk was kind of trying to do a little bit much. We saw him get back-to-back turnovers, just kind of throwing the ball away. He eventually settled into his game as well, but you know, I was really pleased with what I saw from Davion last night, and I think, you know, it's great. I was talking with Frankie Cardicelli before the game, and we were talking about how Tyus Jones for the Memphis Grizzlies had stepped in because of the whole jaw suspension, and how he pretty much was putting up starting point guard numbers in Ja's place, and how great it would be to just know that you have a backup point guard who's capable of putting up starter level numbers when your guy's out. And Davion absolutely did that in his role yesterday. Again, like he was not forcing the issue at all. He has a really good sense of when to shoot, when to drive, when to attack. And really something we haven't seen a lot this year, when to facilitate. Again, he hasn't had the ball in his hands too much this year in terms of like really dribbling the ball and trying to find other guys and set up other guys. Last night had 6 assists, and I thought did a good job of moving the ball around while on the floor. Somebody else who stepped up big last night, Kevin Huerter. Oh, Kevin Huerter is back, ladies and gentlemen. It is so good to see. Kevin had struggled pre-All-Star break. He struggled during the All-Star festivities, and then coming out of All-Star as well. Kevin just was not, you know, he was still finding ways to get some points, especially from 2. I thought I've complimented him multiple times about his ability of when his 3-point shot isn't falling, he's still able to kind of, you know, get into those mid-range, get into some floaters. He's been really good at that, but None of that is necessary if he is knocking down his 3-point shot. And ladies and gentlemen, dare I say, we can officially count on Kevin Huerter while he is hot right now. Hit his first 4 threes last night, and you just knew that he was going to, at that point, obviously, he's already on fire, but you could just feel that it was going to be like he's officially out of his slump. I thought this was interesting. I rewatched the game when I got home last night. And Mark Jones mentioned, this is a great story. Mark, and this is something you can only get from somebody who's like on the road with the team. Mark mentioned that after that OKC game with the tornado warning immediately following the game, and, Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee had a story, talked about how he had to like run to his hotel room a half mile away to just get, because no cars or anything were allowed to be on the roads. And so with that, the team bus couldn't arrive to the arena, so they had to hang out in the arena for about an hour and a half or so. And Kevin Huerter stayed in the gym, said he tweaked his shot a little bit, found out that he kind of wasn't getting enough legs on his shot. And, he feels like he really figured it out. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. Ever since that game, Kevin Huerter's last 4 games, listen to this. 23 points on 62.9, so 63% from the field, and 48% from 3 in his last 4 games. That is Kevin Huerter back territory. The first, about month of the season, Huerter was shooting about 50% from 3, and we felt like that was just absolutely insane and obviously unsustainable, which it was. But man, when Kevin Huerter is hot, he is absolutely scorching, and it's great for this offense. And this is the second time that Huerter has stepped up scoring-wise and also assist-wise when De'Aaron Fox is out. When De'Aaron missed that OKC game, Kevin Huerter had 20 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. And then last night puts up 8 assists as well. So, it's very clear that when De'Aaron is out, these guys know that they all need to step up. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I should probably mention the guy who had the triple-double last night, Domantas Sabonis, who, sure, you could say he stepped up. He knew that De'Aaron was going to be out, and so he probably knew that things were going to run through him a little bit more. But honestly, this is just a typical Domas night. 19, 11, and 11, 6 of 13 from the field, which is crazy. 6 of 13, Domas shoots 61% on the season, and I was thinking about this last night. He misses I don't think I've ever seen somebody who shoots such a high percentage in general miss so many bunnies. He misses so many just easy putbacks or shots right under the rim that he just puts too much power on or not enough power on. It's so strange because, again, he's shooting 61% from the field, which is one of the highest marks in the NBA. And it feels like he can honestly shoot 65 to 70% if he just cleans up those. It's not even sloppy misses. It's just it just feels like he sometimes doesn't, he's just too wrapped up in the physicality of it all and just throws it off the glass or something. But super interesting. And obviously, with De'Aaron Fox out, you had to know that Domas was going to know that he had to have a big game. And, it's great that he doesn't have to put up 30 points on a night where De'Aaron's out. His ability to again, just like the same story with Davion Mitchell, the fact that he's able to stay within himself, not, push too much, not be like, all right, this is my game to get 30 points. It was good to see. Really, really, really good stuff from the Kings last night. Coming up next, I'm going to let you know exactly how historic this Kings offense is. Keep it locked in right here to Chris and Company on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
You wanted more Niners? Sactown Sports delivered in the biggest way. Catch every Niners game right here on the new home for 49ers football in Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Welcome back, Chris and Company. No company today. Frankie Cardicelli was supposed to join me today, but feeling under the weather, so we're just going to push that to tomorrow. So very excited to have my guy, Frankie Cardicelli, joining me. I don't know if it's going to be for the full hour or just for a segment. We still need to hash out those details, but you can absolutely expect my boy Frankie on with me tomorrow. And we'll obviously be talking Kings. I also do want to mention, just to kind of wrap a bow on that last segment, somebody else who I just continually am impressed with, and I'm starting to fear how much I really like this person's play, because their contract is up at the end of the year, and I'm fully ready to invest in a possible jersey, which doesn't really mean a lot for those who don't know me, because I own, like, no joke, like 20 jerseys. So I'm definitely a jersey, not collector, but hoarder. Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles he's just been so consistent it feels like for the past like 2 to 3 months. I was going to say all season, but Trey has had some ups and downs, but he's definitely figured it out these past couple months. And he's been just such a solid presence for this team. Day in, day out, it feels like you can expect Trey to, at least in a game, crash the glass. And man, when he's hitting his three, he just feels like he's such an important player to this team, because it just sets everything else in motion for him. Mike Brown talked about before this season how when he was the Golden State Warriors coach, and he was in charge of defense, and he was their defensive coordinator essentially, and would scout other teams. The scouting report on Trey Lyles was, do not bite on his pump fake, because he's not going to shoot the ball. He's going to look for his pump fake first and then wait for you to react to see what he's going to do next. And Mike Brown implored on Trey Lyles, let that thing fly. Let it fly, and we'll live with the results, because you're a great shooter, especially for your size. And it has completely opened up Trey's game. He's hit multiple threes in so many games this year. And it, again, like once he hits one or two of those threes, that's when he can then go to his preferred pump fake. And that's when he really unlocks his offense, and he becomes a real weapon for this team, because you just don't know what he's going to do, because he's really just as good driving as he is shooting. You saw that insane and one at the end of, was it at the end of halftime or at the end of the third quarter? I think it was at the end of the third quarter, where Trey hit that buzzer beater fall away. That was off a pump fake. And he got Brandon Ingram on his heels, because he thought he was going to shoot. So can't say enough good things about Trey Lyles. And again, like, I know his contract's up at the end of this year. It'll be interesting to see what that figure comes out as, because, if he's we call Malik Monk our 6-man candidate, rightfully so. The 45-point game speaks for itself, and the things that he's done this season definitely speaks for itself. But I think just on a consistency, if we're just talking consistency, it feels like Trey Lyles is there more times than not. And Malik is sometimes up and down. Sometimes you'll get huge explosions. Sometimes you'll get high turnover games. Sometimes you'll get so-so games from Malik. It feels like Trey Lyles, you can always expect at least 8 and 4 from Trey Lyles. And now with him potentially being the backup center, who knows what that does for his minutes and what that does for his role with this team, which is what I fully expect. I fully expect Trey to kind of step right into that backup center spot. But let's talk about this Kings offense in general, because I talked about it a little bit on yesterday's show, but the numbers on this team are just absurd, and they keep getting more and more crazy. Some of the numbers I mentioned yesterday: 130 points in 17 games. That's from Willsey stats. The most since Denver in 1988-89. 130 points in 17 games. They have 7 players who have finished over 30 points in a game this season. That's a huge weapon for this team. The fact that on a night like last night, De'Aaron Fox, the leading scorer for the team, is out. Still managed to put up 123 points. Kevin Huerter steps up, 25 points. Domas, 19 points. Davion Mitchell stepped up last night with 15 points. So, there's just so many different guys on this team who are capable of getting 30. Just having great nights, and you just can't, if you're trying to game plan against this team in a playoff series, you really just have to try and contain the offense as a whole. You really can't just say, oh yeah, let's take out. I mean, you can maybe argue if you take out Domas, that's a huge wrench in this. That would be, throw a huge wrench in this offense, because, everything kind of runs through him. So that would maybe be the one piece, but besides that, you really can't slow down this offense. Most efficient 2-point shooting team in the league, 59% of their twos, top offensive rating in the NBA. And then last night they hit this mark. It's the 53rd time this season that the Kings have scored 35 or more in a quarter. 35 in a quarter, 53 times. That's insane. That is insane. The kind of offense that we're talking about, the fact that they're able to put multiple of those quarters together in a same game sometimes, it's a killer. And that's what I've seen from this team, especially, a game like last night. Perfect example where, yeah, you can maybe stick with this team for offensively, even if they're not playing defensively, you might be able to stick with them for a quarter, a half, maybe even 3 quarters, but it's just so tough for these offenses that are good offenses, but aren't used to scoring these 130 points in a game, they just don't have the weapons. They don't have the firepower to match what the Kings can throw at them. And that's where their offense sometimes can be their best defense, is the fact that, you legitimately just can't score with us. And you cannot keep up this scoring pace for the entire game. That's what happened to me last night, where I looked over and noticed that, I was like, man, the Pelicans are shooting. This was about midway through the second. I was like, the Pelicans are shooting the lights out right now. They had 60-60 splits, so 60% from the field, 60% from 3. That typically is a recipe for disaster. Usually if you're allowing the opposing team, which we talked about a lot yesterday, if you're going to allow an opposing team to shoot those kind of percentages, they're going to put up a ton of points. And what ended up happening was it was no issue, because the Kings were up 5 at that point when I was looking, and the Pelicans were shooting 60 and 60. You know why they were fine? Because the Kings were shooting 68% from the field and 57% from 3. This is just what they do. Yeah, you may be able to have one of the best offensive nights that you've ever had this season. It's just another casual Monday night for the Sacramento Kings. It's nothing to them. Their offense is just so good and it's humming right now. And again, to play that way without De'Aaron Fox is just absolutely crazy to me. And the Kings offense is going to be tested. They are going to be tested in this 6-game stretch. They just finished the second game of 6 where they play a top 10 defense. 5 of the Kings' 6 opponents are top 10 defenses. They've already been through 2 of them. The Wolves are the number 10 defense right now in the league. The Kings scored 134 points in a loss, but still putting up 134 points on the top 10 defense. That's something. Last night, the number 9 defense in the league, the Pelicans, Kings scored 123 points without their leading scorer, 25 point per game scorer. Kings were still able to put up 123 points, which is still a really good amount of points. On Thursday, the Knicks, that national TV game, that's the only one that's not against the top 10 defense, but they're still a top half of the league defense. They're 14th in the league. So that's going to be a challenge. And when you're going against Tom Thibodeau, that's, defensively, you're going to be in for a bloodbath. So that's, even though the Knicks are the 14th ranked defense in the league, that's not going to be easy. It's going to be a physical game. And then on Saturday, when they play the Phoenix Suns, they're the number 6 defense in the league. They present a different kind of issue as well because of how dominant that they can be offensively as well. They're a team that will be like, all right, Kings, you guys want to go into this offense thing? Let's do it. We can also play defense, though. And so that's a game I'm incredibly excited for. Again, that's Saturday against the Phoenix Suns. On Monday, the following Monday, they play the number 2 defense in the league against the Milwaukee Bucks, and then number 7 defense in the Chicago Bulls the following Wednesday. It is not going to be easy, ladies and gentlemen. This stretch, I'm going to learn. I think we're all going to learn a lot about how truly great this Kings offense is in this stretch against playing the best defenses in this league. Very, very, very interested to see, especially how that Saturday game goes against Phoenix. Mind you, there's also some real standings implications in that game, but also against Milwaukee, who has given us absolute fits. Kings have lost their last 13 games to the Bucks, tracing all the way back to 2016. So that'll be interesting for sure. Brock Purdy, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, finally has a date set for surgery. We'll talk about that and more coming up right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All right, class, it's the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. Welcome to Fandom 101. Here's your assignment. Lesson 1, go big for every bucket. 2, work together. And 3, attendance is encouraged, but passion is mandatory. The NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship, first and second rounds, March 16th and 18th at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MBB tickets. Class dismissed.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and member FDIC.
They say you can't have it all. The incredibly versatile Mercedes-Benz SUV family proves otherwise. Top-of-the-line vehicles, each groundbreaking in their own right. There's the versatile GLC, the optional third-row GLB, the powerhouse GLE, the agile GLA, and the brilliantly cutting-edge Mercedes-Benz GLS. Each SUV boasts the seamless technology you'd expect from a signature Mercedes-Benz vehicle. vehicle with the category-leading safety innovations your family deserves. From MBUX voice-activated technology to pre-safe collision response that initiates passenger protection measures in a matter of seconds. Each SUV in this family built to protect what matters most, your family. The exceptional 2023 Mercedes-Benz SUV family. Intelligence not yet seen from SUVs. A family of distinct models, all equally impressive. Test drive one of the 8 impressive models at your local dealer or learn more now at MBUSA.com.
The clock is ticking. Get off the bench and head down to Fasteners Tool Outlet, where you'll find the lowest prices on DeWalt power tools and so much more. Why pay more at a big box store? Get a triple-double at Fasteners Tool Outlet with weekly and monthly offers, including up to 50% off select hand tools, batteries, power tools, and fasteners. Whether you're looking for a Festool sander, a Saw's top table saw, or a DeWalt impact driver, Fasteners Tool Outlet has the tools you need to do the job. Make a slam dunk with Fasteners Tool Outlet, 6701 Power Ed Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Yeah. Add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidate worth interviewing. Did you know every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Wow. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/herd, linkedin.com/herd to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who set out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from 3. Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. With the Kings' win, they are now a half game out of the second seed in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight with the Grizz in LA playing the Lakers. With the Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. And now back to more of Chris and company.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Third segment on the way. Same as yesterday. We will do our on-site segment where we go through the Sactown Sports 1140 website and we just, it's an opportunity to, kind of expand and, talk about some things, quick hit on some things, and just kind of, you can, if you want any further elaboration on anything that I talk about here, you can check out SactownSports.com or Sactown Sports YouTube page as well, and I'll be sure to direct you in the right way as we talk about them. First off, you heard it in the tease. Brock Purdy, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, finally has a date set for surgery. They are planning to have surgery on his elbow this Friday on his damaged UCL. He's Excuse me. Sorry. They waited for the swelling to go down and inflammation to subside in his elbow before proceeding with the surgery. Brock suffered, obviously, the injury in that NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. The 49ers are hoping that Purdy can make a return by training camp, but, with the amount of time that they've delayed in the surgery, we'll have to see on that one. And, it's interesting because I saw also, you can read about it on SactownSports.com. 49ers, Rich Eisen says that the 49ers have reached out and spoken. I'm sorry, we'll say contacted is the official terminology. Contacted Phillip Rivers about a potential role with their team. And we talked about that last week with Emil Fergoso. The 49ers, John Lynch at the NFL Combine said that he will potentially explore bringing in a veteran quarterback as a potential third option for that team. Trey Lance, obviously, and then with Brock Purdy's timeline kind of in question, he is potentially going to look at bringing in one of these veteran quarterbacks that's been cut or released. Jameis Winston was just released the other day by the Saints. Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota. You got your Phillip Rivers. You got your Matt Ryans potentially as well. Somebody who's got that Shanahan connection. So Purdy's scheduled to have surgery this Friday. Very interesting. You can also check out on our this next one's from our Sactown Sports YouTube page. You can check out the Kings mailbag over there. My guy Nate puts those together, rotating between Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross. Me and Frankie did one. Nick and Rami do one as well. But on this week's mailbag, the question was asked: how deep of a bench do you expect Mike Brown to go to during playoffs? And this is a really interesting question because I think it's changing. I think they're still kind of molding that right now as we're heading down the stretch. I think I'm confident right now to say Davion, just because he is the team's kind of only backup point guard option. Trey Lyles, I talked about him earlier. It feels like he's definitely solidified bona fide playoff minutes. Malik Monk, he's been the team's sixth man all year. It feels like it would be weird for him to not appear in a playoff series as well. And that's about all that I'm willing to stamp right now. So that's an 8-man rotation, and that'll probably be, if the Kings make the second round, I would have to imagine, you tighten rotations as you advance. Feels like that's probably the Kings' optimal lineup with, maybe in a couple Chimezie Metu minutes or maybe some Kessler Edwards minutes as well. But I think Mezzi is probably the one that's most on the fringe of being a bona fide playoff rotation guy. I think it'll probably depend on matchup, who the Kings match up with in that playoff series, to see if they're comfortable going with Trey at that 5. And if they're not, I think, I feel like I've been really tough on Chimezie Metu since last year. I just was not a fan of the way that they decided to use him last year. Way too many 3-point attempts for my taste. And I think Mezzi's really solid around the rim. Like, I feel like all of his best moments when I'm like, oh yeah, like that was a really good move, or like that looks something like he could do that routinely, like a jump. He's got a pretty decent jump hook as well. I feel like I always enjoy Chimezie Metu's play most when he's around the rim. I think, he also has some warts. He's definitely not an elite rebounder for how good of a leaper he is. He should be a really consistent rebounder, in my opinion. He's also, for how good of a athlete and leaper he is, I don't think he's particularly a good rim protector. He's not really great at switching on to smaller guys as well, which is something you would kind of hope for somebody who's as quick and athletic as him. So I think Davion, Trey, and Malik are for sure in the playoff rotation. I do think that there is a world, ladies and gentlemen, where we could see Kessler Edwards sneak his way into, maybe not a solidified rotation piece, but maybe in a 6 or 7 game series appearing in 3 to 4 games. And Mike Brown said yesterday in the pregame, when asked about Kessler, obviously Kessler really showed out on Saturday when he was put up against Anthony Edwards. people were, definitely impressed with him and were wondering, rightfully so, okay, is this somebody who we're going to see some run down the stretch here to see if he can get that playoff role? And Mike Brown didn't really shut it down completely, but he said he sees Kessler more as somebody who can guard 1 through 3s right now, point guard through small forward, and doesn't really see him as somebody who can. He just hasn't seen it from him, the ability to guard 3s and big 4s. So like your LeBrons, your Kawhis, your Giannis's, your KDs. I think I personally would be interested to see how Kessler would match up against them. I think Mike Brown obviously probably has a better sense for that, but Mike just believes that, Kessler's better suited on guys like Devin Booker, like Anthony Edwards. Someone like who's definitely still big and provides some wingness to him, but just can't really handle the physicality yet of those bigger, taller guys, like I mentioned, Kevin Durant, Paul George, Kawhi, those kind of guys. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Also, is can Kessler maybe prove to Mike? I went down the list in the last segment. Kings are going to have some tough opponents here. Kessler's going to have his chance. Okay, I would be interested to see Kessler against RJ Barrett on Thursday. I think that would be a perfect kind of tweener of, he's definitely more size-wise like an Ant and Booker, but sometimes RJ Barrett's a really physical player, and especially when he drives to the lane, he's got a little bit of HB to him almost, where he's got that slow Euro, but he throws his body around for sure. So I think that would be a really interesting matchup for him. I wanted to just really quickly get to the Combine real quick. Again, Emil Fergroso wrote about his 5 winners from the NFL Draft Combine, and the big winner, the big talk of town, is quarterback, the big boy, Anthony Richardson, who just is seeming like he's trending towards being a top pick in this draft. 6'4", 244, ran a 4.43 40. It also set the quarterback record for the highest vertical jump in the Combine history at 40.5 inches. Just absolutely incredible athlete. Calls himself Cam Jackson because he views himself as like Lamar Jackson's speed with Cam Newton's body. Obviously, that's a pretty intriguing prospect. He's still very raw, still got some real questions about his accuracy. Emil writes in his piece, his biggest knock has been his throwing ability, struggling with accuracy at times in college. While not every throw was perfect, Richardson's long ball was a thing of beauty, launching it from the 9-yard line to the opposing 30 with the flick of a wrist. Also important to note, he did while keeping the wideout in stride. So his deep ball is obviously impressive. NFL teams will convince themselves of anything, any prospect. See Will Levis. Will Levis, that it'll be interesting to see where if Anthony Richardson will jump over a guy like Will Levis, who, people have some real questions about in this draft as well. So you can check all of that stuff out again at SactownSports.com. You can read Emil's pieces there. You can read Frankie's pieces over there. Also, Joe Giroux. Shout out Joe, who is just the quiet knight of SactownSports.com, just always churning out great pieces over there on the website. Coming up, why every single Sacramento Kings fan should be rooting for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. We'll talk about that next, right here on Chris and Company on Sactown Sports 1140, SactownSports.com.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
For your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
ATM Mortgage.
Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell. Are you tired of ever increasing rent payments? Now's the time to look at building your financial foundation, buying your own home, and ATM Mortgage can help. You can reach us today, 916-338-9400. That's 338-9400, or online at atmmortgage.net.
ATM Mortgage.
License under California CFL and MLS 223-4889.
Your insurance company has an adjuster, shouldn't you? Call 888 Greenspan. They handle major insured claims from collapsed and falling trees. They represent you, not your insurance company. When you go to court, you take a lawyer. When you have a claim, engage a private adjuster to level the playing field. Receive correct and fair insurance claim settlements for property damage. Call 888 Greenspan today. That's 888-473-6277. California DOI license number 2E11301.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for the weekend? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends what you need in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Generic Viagra from $4 at Roman. Go to ro.co/Viagra. Do it today and get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/Viagra.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's what's trending now. You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer. No payments or interest for 6 months. netsuite.com/herd, netsuite.com/herd.
The all-new NBA app is happening and has you covered from coast to coast. And live tip-offs at your fingertips and highlights right as they happen.
Steph Curry drills the three.
Catch every can't-miss moment before, during, and after the game. And behind the scenes like you've never seen.
Let's go.
It's all access, all the time.
Get on 3, 1, 2, 3.
All in one app. Because if it's happening in the new NBA app. So get the app today.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Kurt Eldridge,
I wanna be that song.
and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Gofield Trading Post, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, and Richard Wood Home Furnishings.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Yes. I will argue there is not a better instrumental than that right there. I found that instrumental in like an Adidas commercial. I think it was either Adidas or Reebok commercial that had Isaiah Thomas in it. King's Isaiah Thomas. Love that.
The good Isaiah.
Yeah, right. Yes, the legend Isaiah Thomas. Not that guy that was left off the dream team. Let's go to our Eye on the West segment where we take a look at the Western Conference and all those who are opposing our Sacramento Kings.
Where are the Kings in the standings?
Sometimes a team which no one expects to finish near the top of the standings does finish that way. And fans are not only surprised, they want to know why.
Who's moving up? Who's falling down? And who should embrace the tank? It's Eye on the West with Chris and Company.
That is epic. Love that. With the win today, with the win last night, the Kings move half game back of the number 2 spot in the Western Conference. I cannot believe I'm saying that sentence right now. They also have the opportunity to move into that number 2 spot tonight without even playing. And that's where the Los Angeles Lakers come into play. Every single Sacramento Kings fan tonight it's gonna hurt. It's not gonna feel good. It's not. But we need to root for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight because The Memphis Grizzlies, the current holder of that number 2 spot in the Western Conference, play the Lakers tonight on TNT at 7 o'clock. And if the Lakers win, the Kings will move into technically a tie for the number 2 spot in the Western Conference with the Memphis Grizzlies. However, the Kings would actually hold the number 2 spot. If you look on, your whatever website you use to check your standings, the Kings will be in that 2 spot because of the tiebreaker. They're 2-2 on the season against each other head to head, but the Kings hold a much better record against other Western Conference teams. And so that's the second tiebreaker, giving it to the Kings. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not going to feel good, but tonight we are all Jack Nicklaus. We're all Snoop Dogg. We are all rooting for the Los Angeles Lakers to take down the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. And I cannot believe it, but the Sacramento Kings, will be in the number 2 spot if the Grizzlies lose tonight. Incredible. 65 games into this season, and the Sacramento Kings have a shot at being the number 2 team in the Western Conference. There is not a single soul on this planet who would have thought preseason that the Kings would have been anywhere near this spot. Just picking up their 38th win, if I'm not mistaken, 38th win on the season. We're a couple wins away from guaranteeing a 500 season, a season above 41 win or 40 wins even. They haven't had a 41 win season since they've made the playoffs in 2005, 2006. That's, people talk about the playoff drought all the time. Not making the playoffs is one thing, but you can still have some decent years and just, barely miss out. The Kings have not been over 500 since they last made the playoffs. So there's 2 streaks that we're looking to break at some point this season. And it'll happen. We're 3 games away, 3 wins away. I don't want to jinx anything, but I feel like I can pretty confidently say that we're probably going to break those 2 streaks. Let's cover the other teams that are playing tonight. Number 5, Golden State right now in the standings plays OKC. OKC is currently in a tie with like 4 other teams for the play-in spot right now. Golden State, if they win tonight, they keep that number 5 spot, but they're also jostling in the standings with the Timberwolves, who the Kings played the other day. T-Wolves play the 76ers before the Memphis Grizzlies and Lakers tip off on TNT. The Timberwolves and the Sixers will tip off at 4:30 on TNT, so that'll be an interesting game. Minnesota's only a half game ahead of Dallas and of the Clippers, right behind them, right on their heels. And, tonight Dallas plays Utah, who Utah is no slouch. So if Dallas wins, Golden State loses, and Minnesota loses, that puts Dallas now at the number 5 spot. And if Utah wins, if Utah beats the Dallas team tonight, then Utah will finally break that 4-way tie that I talked about in that play-in spot. And they'll be kind of comfortable in there. I am so glad that the Kings are not in this hodgepodge of teams, because it would be so stressful. And I think, I'll admit it, I think I'm not the only one here. I struggle sometimes to have real confidence in this team on a night-to-night basis. And we have a very comfortable cushion. So I couldn't imagine how on edge, how stressed I would be right now if the Kings were really if there was real potential for this team to slip out. Like, we saw what happened with the Clippers. The Clippers were top 5 seed before the Kings played them in that double overtime game. And now they're in the 8th spot after losing 5 games. The New Orleans Pelicans in the second month of the season were the number 1 seeded team in the Western Conference. Now they're 8-20 in their last 28 games. Things can happen quick. I mean, I think it's a little late for the floor to fall out from the Kings at this point in the season, and I'm not really necessarily talking about the Kings. I think, it's kind of crazy. I think I can confidently say, we're a really good team, and I don't expect for things to just kind of naturally go bad because we're the Kings. I think a lot of people felt that way probably all the way up until the All-Star break, that there's still potential for the floor to fall out on this team completely. And now it feels like with the comfortable cushion that they have for the number 3 spot, again, about to potentially crawl up into that number 2 spot, it feels like we can almost confidently say that the Kings should be looking at securing home court advantage in the playoffs, or at least for a series, a top 4 seed. I think a 5, and here's the crazy thing. I think at this point we're playing with house money. Even if the Kings do have a very disappointing end to this season and they somehow do slide to, worst case, I think a 5 or a 6 slot, I think you still have to take, that step back and be like, where were we last year? Where were we anticipating being this year? And then again, to still be in a secured playoff spot, I think you have to just kind of count your losses at that point and just say, it's all right. Like it might have been a disappointing end, but at least we have something that we could really hang our hat on. But at the moment, we do not. I shouldn't have even talked about that, because right now we don't need to focus on that, because right now is about getting that 2 seed. And we might not secure that 2 seed for the long term. Again, Phoenix is they're looming. Phoenix is definitely looming, and they have my attention. They fully have my attention. And again, the Kings play Phoenix on Saturday. That'll have huge standings implications, as potentially Phoenix could move within a game of the Kings. So, that'll be a good game. That will be a good game on Saturday. Can't wait to see that. But again, just a lot of potential moves in the standings tonight. Everybody, again, I know it's going to hurt, but I think we have to root for the Lakers tonight. That's all I got for today. That is all I got for today. Really quick. Felt like it flew by today, so that's great. We got Deuce and Mo next. I'll be hopping on for an hour with them. So don't change that dial. Stay locked in right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Sactown Sports is your new home for the San Francisco